Welcome to the Bitcoin Digital Course. My name is Ryan Matta. I want to start this course off a little bit different than most people, and I want to jump right into it. I want to get you your first Bitcoin wallet. We're going to use what they call a mobile wallet. We're going to download it on our phone. We're going to install that. That way you actually have a Bitcoin wallet. So as we go through the next 5 or 10 courses, you're really going to start to understand how this blockchain works, what Bitcoin is, how to use it, how to interact with it. So I feel like that most courses, you got to sit there for an hour, 2 hours. We're busy. We got a lot of shit to do. Let's just get right into it. So we're going to go over to the App Store and we're going to download Blue Wallet. And then after you get this wallet set up, we're going to purchase Bitcoin. I'm going to walk you through how to buy Bitcoin, how to set up your bank account, connect it right to your bank using direct deposit. And in less than 15 minutes, you're going to own Bitcoin. You're going to have your own Bitcoin, but it's going to be on a centralized exchange. And then we're going to transfer it off that centralized exchange to this wallet. So I figure out this is the best way to go about it. So I won't overtalk it. Hopefully by now, you guys have already started to download Blue Wallet. And once you have this installed, it is so easy and so user-friendly. That's why I wanted to start here. So hopefully you guys got this downloaded. You guys can pause this video. Sometimes I talk a little bit quick, but this is the mobile wallet section and we are using the Blue Wallet. So after you have this wallet installed, the first thing you're going to want to do, you're going to open up the app and you're going to see the Add New Wallet button or Add a Wallet button. So you're going to click the Add Now button. Then the next screen you should see should look like this. The first thing I want you to do where it says number 1 is you're going to type in my first wallet. You could type in my Bitcoin wallet, Blue Wallet. You can name it whatever you want because there's odds are at some point in your life, you're probably going to have multiple wallets. So you could call it wallet 1, whatever name you want to choose, go ahead and do it. Then the next thing you're going to do is you're going to click right here where it says Bitcoin or it says a multi-sig vault. Now, multi-sig is much more advanced. We're probably going to go over that in episode like 10, 12, 18. So to start off, we're just going to create the easiest, simplest Bitcoin wallet. And we're just going to choose this option right here with where the arrow is for number 2. And the next thing you're going to do is you're going to come down here and you're going to click create. Now, this is probably the most important part of what we are talking about here. These are your private keys. I want to be very clear to anybody that's watching this. This is the single most important aspect of owning Bitcoin, your private keys. Your private keys, these words right here, these 12 words, every key set is unique to you. Anybody that can get access to these 12 words can access your Bitcoin on any device. If we go back to the same page where we chose create, right below the create button, it says import. And if you click the import button, what it's going to do is it's going to open up this blank box. So what that means is if for some reason you took a screenshot of those words instead of writing them down like I'm going to teach you how to do, and somebody walks by you and you're in a crowded mall and they have a phone swiper and they can swipe your photos off your phone, if they see those 12 words, they could download Blue Wallet, they could type in those 12 words, and it's going to turn your wallet on their device. So these 12 words, think of them like your passwords to your Facebook page. The only difference is there is no CEO of Bitcoin. So if you lose them or you misplace them or anything happens with them, they're gone for good. Your wallet is gone for good. With great responsibility comes great reward. So what we're going to want to do is we're going to come back over here. So the next thing we're going to want to do is we're going to actually write these words down. Now, if you've bought a crypto wallet, you most likely will have received a pamphlet that looks like this that has 24 spots on it. It's very important. These words have to be in the correct order. So what I want you to do is if you don't have a sheet of paper like this, just get out a normal sheet of paper, a notebook paper, and you're going to start by writing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up to 12. Or if you chose to do 24, 24 as well. So we're going to write down all of these words in order. And then once you have them written down, we're going to store this sheet of paper. And then we're going to get into it in another episode here. We're going to get into how do we actually store these words? How do we actually guarantee that these aren't going to get burnt if our house catches on fire? Because we're going to hide these words in a super, super safe place where nobody's going to look for them. But how do we make sure that they don't burn if the house burns down? Well, in order to do so, you need to get some type of metal and you need to stamp or engrave them into the metal. I suggest stamping them in, and that's exactly what we're gonna do. We have this special set of tools that you get on Amazon for like 15 bucks, and these are stamps with all of the letters on them. What I have here in my hand is washers, And I have a special device that I also got for probably 15 bucks. And you put the stamp letter in it, and you put your washer on the bottom side of this, and then you punch in each letter. And we're going to kind of rotate it around until we get the entire word spelt out. Now, what's interesting about these specific words and the way that the Bitcoin wallets are set up, when you activate a new wallet, it's going to ask you for word 1, and you're going to start typing in word 1. So let's jump over here and just take a look at what word 1 is. Word 1 is tooth. So as soon as you type in T-O-O-T, that fourth letter, the only option it's going to give you is tooth. Lake, same with dismiss. If I type in D-I-S-M, because of I think there's like 14,000 words out there that you could possibly have when it generates your seed phrases out of, there are no words that have the same first 4 characters in that exact order. So once you type in D-I-S-M, it's going to give you, like when you start to type in D-I-S, there might be like 5 words that are available to choose from. As soon as you type in M, the only option for you to choose is going to be dismiss. So that's why it's important to realize that some of these plates or some of these seed phrase stores, like these metal clips or a plate that you engrave in, they're only looking for the first 4 characters. So super important. But we're going to write down the entire word. We're going to write down all 12 words, and we're going to store them on this sheet of paper. We are not going to take a photo. We are not going to take a screenshot. We are not going to, we'll come back and do it later. No. This is how Ryan Matta has lost over $1 million in crypto one time. Very, very important, folks. I can't stress how important it is for you to write these down, do it the first time, don't take that screenshot, because this is how people lose a lot of money. And they say treat every single piece of Bitcoin as if it were $1 million. Okay? Because at one point, Bitcoin was 10 cents. And somebody that had 10 of them only had $1. And that dollar today, when Bitcoin is 100,000, is worth $1 million. So think about that in retrospect. If you have 0.01 Bitcoin today, there is a probability that 10 years from now, 20 years from now, that 0.1 Bitcoin or 0.01 Bitcoin will be worth over $1 million. So it is so important that you treat every little speck of Bitcoin like it's $1 million. Okay, so now that we have our words wrote down, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go down to the bottom of the screen here, and we're going to click, okay, I've wrote down my words. The next thing you're going to see is this page right here open up. So the first thing you're going to see, this is now your Bitcoin wallet where it says 0 BTC. And I want you to tap on this box. That's going to open up this page. And at the top here where it says BTC, if you go ahead and you just tap where it says BTC, it'll change it to sats. Sats are the equivalent of cents in the Bitcoin world. Inside every Bitcoin, there are 100 million Satoshis. So 1 Bitcoin equals 100 million Satoshis. So if you had a very small percentage of Bitcoin, you don't have a whole one, what you're actually going to be doing is you're going to be actually holding Satoshis. And once you get a full Bitcoin, it'll say 1 BTC. But what's really unique and what I really like about Blue Wallet is if you just tap the sats button again, what it's going to do is it's going to set that view to US dollars. Now, you only have to do this one time. Whatever you have it set to at the end when you close the app or you move on, it's going to remain at that denomination. So if you want it in US dollars, just leave it on US dollars when you close the app. Next time you open it up, it's going to display your balance in US dollars. Now, the next thing we would want to do is we would want to receive Bitcoin. But maybe you guys haven't purchased any Bitcoin yet. So I just kind of want to walk you through this process. Then I'm going to advise that you go watch my tutorial, which is the next one, which is how to buy Bitcoin with your bank account using direct deposit on Coinbase Pro. And Coinbase Pro literally connects to every single bank account that I've ever seen anyways. I have not found one that doesn't connect to it, unless maybe it's some random credit union, but even most credit unions now connect to Coinbase because it is the most regulated exchange in America. I personally despise it, but we need to have that on-ramp. We need to be able to take our dirty fiat dollars and convert them into Bitcoin and then immediately get that Bitcoin off of that exchange. So I want to walk you through setting this app up. I'm going to kind of explain to you how it works or how you go about receiving Bitcoin. That way, as we get into this next tutorial, you're really going to have a good foundation. You're going to start to understand things and they'll make sense. So I want to walk you through this app. So if you want to receive Bitcoin, you need an address. So the first thing we're going to do, and I want you guys to kind of follow along with me, I want you to click the receive button. Now, what you're going to see over here is it's going to immediately ask you, hey, dummy, before you go and send Bitcoin to this wallet, have you saved your wallet backup phrase? Your backup phrase is your private keys. Your backup phrase is also referred to as a seed phrase. So whether you call it a private password, your private keys, your seed phrase, your backup phrase, those terms all mean the exact same thing. So it's saying, have you saved your wallet backup phrase? This backup phrase is required to access your funds in case you lose this device. Without the backup phrase, your funds will be permanently lost. So you can choose, yes, I have, no, I haven't, or just cancel. If for whatever reason you did not save those words, here's what I want you to do. You're just going to delete that wallet. It is irrelevant. You've never set Bitcoin to it. On the top right of the screen, you'll see those little 3 dots right here in the top left. Those 3 dots, when you're on this page right here, if you click those 3 dots, you can actually delete this wallet. Or you might have to tap this wallet right here. And then once it opens, go up here, click those 3 white dots, and then it'll say delete wallet. You can delete wallet. But let's assume that we've wrote down our words and we're following the steps in this tutorial. We're going to click yes, I have. So now what we have here on this first page is our Bitcoin wallet address. This is your public wallet address. You can share this wallet address with anybody. If anybody sees this address, you're at no risk of them accessing your Bitcoin. Now, when they say Bitcoin is pseudonymous, what that means is that you have a number, and unless you post that public wallet address somewhere, nobody knows who owns those numbers. You don't have to go and register with the government. You don't have to follow any regulations. You create your own wallet, and unless you post it publicly, technically, nobody knows who that wallet belongs to. But when you interact with the Bitcoin blockchain and you're sending and receiving Bitcoin, every transaction is connected to an IP address. Now, what they can do is track that IP address to that wallet, to your home, and get in contact with Xfinity or Verizon or whatever internet service provider you're using, and they can connect that wallet to an address. So in the court of law, it is very hard for you to remain anonymous, especially as a beginner. Now, there's definitely people like Edward Snowden, and there's definitely people out there like myself that have a vast knowledge and understanding of how to keep your identity hidden no matter what. But that involves running your own node. That involves a lot of complex steps. But for the average person, if you are doing anything illegal, it would be the dumbest decision of your life to use Bitcoin to do it. Let's just be clear. So this address can be shared anywhere publicly, but we can also create multiple wallets, right? So you might want to have a wallet that you post somewhere for donations. I would advise that that is the only thing that you do with a wallet that you post publicly anywhere. Okay. Now, if I want you to hold down on this QR code right here. If you hold down and you click copy, you can literally paste that QR code anywhere you want. Now, if you hold it down as well and you click share, and you have to press it for 3 seconds, just so we're being clear. But if you press the share button, what you can actually do is you can add this to your notes. And it's one of the things that I like to do. So I just click add to notes, and then it'll actually put the QR code right into your notes on your iPhone. If you have a Droid, you might have something different than Notepad. You're just going to have to copy it and paste it into whatever Notepad you have. Now, the next thing I want you to do is I want you to press and hold down where you saw the address. It's really grayed out here, so it might be hard for you to see. But your Bitcoin wallet address, the actual numbers are right below the QR code. If you press and hold that for 3 seconds, it's going to automatically copy it to your clipboard. So what I call my mobile wallet is my Bitcoin travel wallet. So in my Notepad at the very top, I'm going to title it Bitcoin Travel Wallet. And this is BTC, so it stands for Bitcoin. It's Blue Wallet, and this is an on-chain Bitcoin wallet address. Now, when we talk about sending Bitcoin, there's 2 different types. There's on-chain Bitcoin, and then there's also Lightning Bitcoin. Those are 2 separate types of Bitcoin. They can both be swapped for one another at any time. There's no extra Bitcoin floating around there. Lightning Bitcoin is where we're going to get into it in another episode. but I just want you to separate and understand the difference between a on-chain address and a Lightning address. This right here, what we're doing now, is on-chain. We'll get into Lightning a little bit later in this, once you have a better understanding of what Bitcoin is. Because like even just trying to explain to you how there are two different types of Bitcoin, it's probably too confusing. So just know that in our notepad, we're going to put on-chain, and then we're going to paste our wallet address there. Now, the first thing I want you to do after you paste this address, and even though we copied and pasted, which is what you should always do, you should never, ever in a million bazillion years attempt to manually enter this address by typing it out, unless it's an absolute last resort. You're going to need to triple check. But when you copy and paste, just to make sure everything was good, I want you to just take a look at the first 3 or 4 letters, BC1QZ, and then you got NDDK over here. So if we go back to the previous screen where we can see our address, you can see it says BC1Q, okay. And then we go to the end of it and it says NDDK. That just lets you know that a letter at the end didn't get cut off, or for some reason it copied the entire address. And then we're just going to close out our notepad and we're going to click save. So I want to point out some things and I kind of just want to explain this app for you. So the first thing is the value up here where the green arrow is. So that green arrow that's pointing to 0, if you click right there, and you can see it over here, you click, that is where you enter the amount of Bitcoin. So you have the amount of Bitcoin you enter, the yellow arrow pointing down right here to the word scan. If I have 2 phones, I can click the scan button on this one. I have my QR code on this one and I scan it, and it's automatically going to put the address there for me. And I'm going to show you guys, we're going to walk through this process as well. So the next thing I want you to do is you're going to click the scan button, and then you would pull up an address. You put an address in here. The next tab down here is your sats. This is how much gas you're going to pay for the transaction. They call it V-bytes, or a lot of people refer to it in the crypto space as gas, kind of like in a car. If you want to get an Uber ride, you have to pay the Uber driver. Now, why that varies is depending on how busy the Bitcoin blockchain is. If the Bitcoin blockchain is very busy, gas is going to be higher. Think about it like Uber. If you need an Uber ride and you're just going from your house to the gas station, probably not too expensive. Or if you're walking out of a concert or a festival like EDC, where there's 50,000 people leaving one arena and all 50,000 are trying to get an Uber ride, well, guess what? There's a limited supply and an insane demand. And that's how you end up being like me and paying $250 for a 5-mile Uber ride. That's how much it costs. On the Bitcoin blockchain, in the middle of a bull run, when it's super busy, or on a Friday when the markets are getting ready to close and the stock market's closing, maybe just for whatever reason, the Bitcoin blockchain is very busy. So it might cost you more. But what it's going to do, and what's really nice about the Bitcoin blockchain, is it normally defaults to the fastest amount that you can pay. So, and then after that is your next button, which would be how you would actually begin the process of sending it. But I want to show you this. We're going to click where the red arrow is, where it says 1 sat/V-byte. And I want to show you. So fast means that they're guesstimating on the price for gas at that exact point in time. Depending on how busy the blockchain is, 10 sats would be the equivalent of probably like $1. 4 would be about 50 or 60 cents. 2 would probably be about 30 to 40 cents, depending on the price of Bitcoin. So if you want to guarantee that your transaction is going to be sent in the next 10 minutes, give or take, it could take up to 20 or 30, but most of the time it's 10 or less, you're going to want to choose the fast option. Now, if you're in no hurry and you're saying, hey, I'm just transferring Bitcoin from one wallet to the next, and I don't care if it goes in there in the next 3 hours, right? I can choose medium. Or if I have no desire, I can get there in the next day. I'm in absolute no hurry. Whenever there's just a block that's just not filled, shoot me in there. I'll pay the absolute bottom of the barrel. But there's a possibility when you choose slow that the network might get busy, and it might take days for that to actually send. So, and you can actually adjust these after the fact, but we're just going to make sure that we're always choosing fast, and we're not going to try to skimp when we're first learning how to use the Bitcoin blockchain. So if I click that scan button and I scan the address, you could see I would input the address right here. You can see that now it says 10 sats per V-byte, which was the amount right here to send fast transactions. Note to self, I always leave blank, but you could say, sent to Johnny. And then that way in your app, you can actually, oh yeah, what was that transaction for? Oh yeah, I paid for gas. Or, I sent Johnny $50 or $100. Now up here is where you actually enter the number. So if you were to just to click there where at once it says 0, it'll allow you to actually manually type the amount that you want to put. You can type 100, 10, 15, any amount that you want to send, you can send for the most part. Now, these arrows over here on the left in this box will allow you to change the denomination. So some people want to know how much dollars they're sending. Sometimes somebody's like, hey, I need 0.1 Bitcoin. So what you can just do is you can hit those arrows and that'll toggle between dollars, Bitcoins, and Satoshis. Very, very simple. Now, after you got the dollar value correct, you got your address correct, and you got the gas or your fee correct, you're going to click the next button. After you click the next button, it's going to basically give you one last chance to make sure everything is correct. Now, I first want to take a look at the red arrow, which is the dollar value. Before, it was showing you the dollars at the top in the $100, but after it goes to create this transaction, it's going to flip them around. And this isn't changeable. So it always wants to display the amount in Bitcoin because it is Bitcoin. Dollars are just the value that we use to determine them. So I want to take a look at the red arrow and go, okay, yep, I'm sending $100 because sometimes you might mean to send, $10, but you put an extra 0 in there, and all of a sudden now you're sending 10,000, right? So just double check the value. The dollar value is correct. The next arrow is this pink arrow. I want you again, just to make sure, take a look at the last 4 letters and the first 4 letters and just take a glance. It only takes 2 extra seconds. Just make sure that address is correct. Because when we were looking at the previous screen, over here, you can see the digits at the very end of that address are cut off. So if for some reason anything didn't scan properly, well, then these numbers would be incorrect. So let's just make sure the value of those letters is actually, so let's just make sure that the address is proper and correct. And then you can see down here at the bottom, 10 sats is roughly $2. So the cost of this Bitcoin transaction is going to cost me $2 to send 100. Now, what's awesome and kind of a downside to Bitcoin at the same time, if I wanted to send you $1 billion, at this point in time, it would cost me $2. If I wanted to send you $2, well, it's going to cost me $2. So if you're the person that's selling hot dogs, it's probably not going to be convenient for you to sell a $2 hot dog and then pay $2 in fees to get that money. And that's where the Lightning Network comes in. On Lightning, you could send $2 and it's going to cost you 4 cents, which will actually normally be cheaper than what Visa or MasterCard are charging you. So Bitcoin is a win for businesses, it's a win for the consumer, and it's a win for everybody. It's a win for freedom, it's a win for America. Now, after, again, you click this send button, this is your last chance to confirm. Once you click send, that Bitcoin is going to this address, and there's no taking it back. There's nothing you're going to do to stop it, and there's no way to get it back. So if you send it to the wrong address, if you put an L instead of a W at the end, if one letter is wrong, and it's case sensitive, if one letter is wrong or swapped out and you press send, it is going to send to that address. So be well aware of what you are doing and be careful. And after you click send, what you're going to see is you're going to see this check right here. And that's it. Now, the reason that this value is different than this is because this screenshot was from a transaction that I sent a long time ago. This was from what I was doing right here with you. But if you just take a look and it says fee, the BTC fee, really low, and it says it in Bitcoin value, doesn't say it in dollars value. Now, if you take a look over here and you say 0.001 was $100, 0.005 is most likely roughly around $500, give or take. And then all you need to do is click the done button. And now what you've done is you've created your first Bitcoin wallet. Now, this is a Bitcoin wallet where you own the private keys to. This means that no government can take it from you. No judge can force you to turn it over because they have no idea at the end of the day if you have these 12 words. And the saying is in the Bitcoin world, man, I don't know what I was thinking. I took my private keys, I took my Bitcoin with me, and I got in a boating accident. That lake was deep. It was like 150 feet, when we tipped over. Lost in a boating accident. Nobody can prove that you have that Bitcoin. Nobody. So it's very important to understand that power. And this is why Bitcoin terrifies the government. This is why they'll never educate you about it. Well, Trump's administration might, but every previous administration wouldn't, because they don't want you to have that ability. They want to be able to cut off your money at any time they want, and they want to use it as a control mechanism to keep you a slave, America. And this is why we are breaking out of the matrix. And this is just episode 1. First, right off the bat, I wanted to get you so you are familiar with these wallets, because the next thing we're going to do is we're going to go on to a centralized exchange and we're going to buy Bitcoin. So hopefully you enjoyed video 1. Here comes video 2 up next. God bless you guys. Do me a favor. This is completely self-funded out of my own pocket, and Bitcoin is what I use to fund these child trafficking documentaries where I travel across the world. It used to be just America. Now it seems to be traveling across the world from country to country, going into areas where they have massive issues with children being kidnapped. And a lot of times it seems like our government's involved in it. So if you guys could afford to skip a cup of coffee and become a paid member over on X, that is how I fund all of those operations. And that is what's going to allow me to continue to give this Bitcoin digital course for free as well. So thank you to everybody that signs up over on X. It's $4.99 a month. If you find this content helpful and you'd like to support the cause, you guys can go ahead and donate or become a monthly supporter. We need 3,000 monthly supporters to really send this operation at scale to the next level. And it won't always just be child trafficking. That seems to be the topic that I'm laser focused on right now. God has sent me on a mission to rescue these children, and I'm not going to stop until we do. So God bless each and every one of you guys. I will catch you guys in part 2. God bless.